On today's show, we've got the roster for rookie tournament. We'll break down who's on it and what to expect with the Senators playing 2 games this weekend.
And we continue with our organizational value rankings with 4 players that could possibly spend some time in Ottawa.
This is Brady Kachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app today and head to it. You'll be able to win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. Today is Thursday, September 11th, and Pillsy, just when you thought the Sens prospect pool couldn't get bigger, they bring in a 6'8", 240-pound mutant for this weekend in Montreal.
And Ross, add to the bingo card, Nepo baby, as he's the son of Yuri Fisher. Like that is the Ottawa Senators right there. And you know what? I don't even hate it. I'm not even like, oh my God, here we go again. Why not give this guy a shot and see what he's got? Like if you're gonna go with big defensemen, get the biggest one. And I believe they've done that.
And if you're going to get mean defenseman, get the meanest one. Gabe Eliasson will also be at this camp. He's 6'7". Jabril Toure, 6'7".
We should say who we're talking about here, though.
What do you mean?
Who's the player we're referring here?
Oh, Braden Simmons Fisher.
And
you'll see him
size
this weekend. And you know what? On his elite prospects page, it's just popped up. It didn't show this yesterday. He will be playing for the Allen Americans this season. So there you go, the ECHL affiliate of the Ottawa Senators. Last year spent some time with Adrian College with Port Huron. Look, this is bottom of the lineup for what we're going to see in this weekend's games, but it was too funny not to lead the show with that the Senators are going all in on what they know and love, and that is size and physicality. Go watch. People were sending me a fight that he had last year. This guy can throw. But we can also throw together our lineups, and you can see the entire Senators prospect camp lineup online. But I took it, and I appreciated this actually about Ottawa, Pillsy. They put 4 centermen, 4 left wing, and 4 right wing. It wasn't a hodgepodge who's going to play where. And there was an extra left winger, and it was in italics. I don't think Luke Ellenis is going to play this weekend. I don't know if he's still suffering from an injury or just unavailable, but I wouldn't expect to see Luke Ellenis, which is unfortunate. He's one of the prospects that people are excited to see. But what was your first impression when you saw the lineup come out?
First impression is I was surprised to see a couple names on there. Halliday, Philip Daou was surprising for me to see there. Other than that, it was mostly the guys I would expect. I think it's going to be very interesting to see certain players like Tyler Boucher. This is going to be kind of a big opportunity for him to show what he can do up against lesser competition. Guys like Yakimchuk, like if you have aspirations to make an NHL roster this year, you better dominate the rookie tournament. Like you better be the top player, and I'm sure he's aware of that as well. And then Stephen Halliday, I hope he dominates as well. But other than that, it was mostly what I expected.
I think it's going to be really nice that they're playing in an NHL arena, like to get the juices flowing, because it just felt like summer hockey when it was at the Sabres practice facility.
Yeah, and I've been there, and it was big summer hockey vibes. Like most people are chit-chatting, and you've got the GMs, they're all having their chats and stuff while there's hockey going on, whereas this, I feel like it's going to have a bigger feel to it.
Yeah, initially I was with you where it's like, look, let's not get into all the gobbledygoo with the Ottawa Senators and Montreal Canadiens, but now I'm thinking about it more, and like I think it would have been a good experience for the Sens prospects to be in that environment, because let's be honest, the Sens Leafs game in Montreal is not going to be even an eighth of the atmosphere that the Habs are going to draw for their games. Like the way they're in their rebuild and all their excitement of the prospects that will be playing there, they might sell that barn out. So unfortunately, Ottawa
No,
won't
I
get
don't
to.
think so. But there will be a lot of people there.
I think so.
If
I mean,
they sell out a rookie game, oh my God.
if Demidov is playing, I wouldn't put it past them.
He is playing, is he not?
There you go.
I don't know that. I would be shocked if he's not.
I think they sell this thing out. We'll see. We're going to find out in 2 days. Senators are taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs at 1 o'clock on Saturday. It's 1 o'clock, right? I'm just double checking right now. But I know that on Sunday at 7 p.m. against the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah. I don't get my Jets Sens preseason game here, but at least it is.
You can scratch the itch with the rookie tournament.
Not really. No, I can't because I can't go to it.
Where can we watch these? Are the Sens putting them on the website?
Great question. I think that's what they've done in the past. And yes, I am correct. 1 p.m. Saturday, 7 p.m. Sunday.
I feel like the Sens are terrible at giving fans the content they want in moments like this. So I hope, since it's at an NHL arena, there's like official setup and you can get a proper stream rather than, I feel like in years past, Ross, we've just had a
like they had Craig Mandaglia
wide frame.
Yeah, or they had Craig using his phone and streaming it off of that.
Yeah. We can do better than that now.
No, I think being at the Bell Center, they're going to have all the bells and whistles, no pun intended, to be able to put on a solid broadcast. I doubt that we're going to get any sort of play-by-play, but that's fine.
No,
I just want to see. Yeah. I want to see the Sens jersey skating around on the ice, and I will be happy as a clam. So with the lineup, and I mentioned they did put it in positional order. The biggest thing that stood out to me was Oscar Pettersson being listed as a centerman. Looks like the transformation's complete for him.
See, that doesn't surprise me, Ross, because we talked to David Bell about him, Oscar Pettersson switching to center. We talked to Oscar himself about switching to center, and it seemed like that was a mutual decision that they thought was best for him to get better opportunities in the lineup. And he had success with it at the end of the year with Belleville. So I'm glad that they're sticking with him at center, because we talked about the weakness of center depth that Belleville might face. So this is great for Oscar.
There are some PTOs that have been brought in to help fill out this lineup, but the players to watch we'll get into tomorrow. We want to see how the actual lineup looks, but this is how I would have them lined up. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. I'll just point out a couple of things. You can go check it out on YouTube or on Twitter at Sens Central if you're more interested in seeing it. Blake Vanek and Luka Beckman are two of the players from the 2025 draft class that we're going to get our first look at. Now, I did see a lot of notes on Twitter, like, where's Logan Hensler? College players will not be attending this. They do come to development camp in the summer, but they're already getting their season ready to go, preseason and training camp and everything. So the college players do not come for this. These are all players that will be attending regular Senators training camp that starts on September 17th next week. So unfortunate in a sense. Of course, you would have loved to have seen Logan Hensler here as a 1-2 punch with Carter Yakimchuk on the right side, but just gives more opportunity to Jabril Toure or Gabe Eliason. It'll be our first look as well as 2024 fifth-round pick Eric Wallenius, now that he's come over. European players who are already guaranteed to play there. I don't think they often come to camp, right? Like, was Wallenius there last year? I don't think so.
I can't remember, but yeah, I don't think so. But it's funny looking at this lineup, Ross. Like, this is essentially the Belleville Senators lineup. Like, it's pretty damn close.
Well, except it's missing some players that we're going to discuss today later on.
Yeah, but I mean, apart from a couple top six players, like this is a good indication of how a bunch of pairs and lines could look in Belleville.
So the Ottawa Senators rookies will skate today in the afternoon, then again tomorrow morning before taking the trip up to Montreal. So on tomorrow's show, we will have 3 players to watch for this weekend with those 2 games, Saturday 1 o'clock against Toronto and Sunday 7 p.m. against the Winnipeg Jets rookies. On the other side, once the dust settles and the team is built, how should the penalty kill look? We did the power play on Tuesday. We're going to look at the penalty kill next, then get to our NHL depth tier of our organizational value rankings. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Guys, the NFL season is here. Week 2 starts tonight, Thursday Night Football, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel. Fits however I want to bet. Player props, love them. Same game parlays, Pillsy's parlay of the day. You know I'm in on that. Or you can even jump in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. Right now, if you want to look at Thursday Night Football, it's the Commanders versus Packers. Commanders plus 148. Packers, Mike Parsons, huge addition. The favorites at minus 176, a 3.5 spread. So go to FanDuel to check that out. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to your Sundays, Thursdays, and Mondays. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
All right, Pillsy, it is time to continue our build-up towards the NHL season, and even closer than that is training camp, and we'll get a good sense eventually once they start on special teams how Travis Green is going to line up his penalty kill. He made adjustments. They got better, but there's still loads of improvement ahead for the Ottawa Senators after finishing last season with a PK percentage of 77.7. I believe it was 19th in the National Hockey League. I don't think that I'm as high on the PK as the power play, where I think it should be absolutely top 10, but I do think that they could be better than the lower third of the league.
Yeah, I think shooting for top 15 penalty kill is what you want. More reasonably 15 to 10, somewhere in that range, I think is attainable, and that could go a long way to help them overall.
Yes, and with that, they made a big change at the deadline. Josh Norris out. He played 53 games for Ottawa last year. He was their second most common penalty killer per game up front behind Claude Giroux. It went Giroux, then Norris, then Pinto were the top 3 in ice time per game in shorthanded opportunities. So I want to start with what we believe the Senators will do and then discuss how we would change that. Okay. I would be shocked if the first 2 over the boards, most PKs, aren't Shane Pinto and Ridley Gregg.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
Because who was the forward with the most shorthanded time on ice, Ross?
That was Claude Giroux.
Claude Giroux, yeah. And I talked about it, but he finished 4th in shorthanded faceoff wins last season. So Travis Green knows the importance. And which one of the coaches does penalty kill?
That would be Nolan Baumgartner.
Yeah, clearly they're emphasizing winning that draw and getting that dump out of the zone, and you're killing 30 seconds right there. Like if you win the draw and dump it right away, there's a quarter of that penalty kill already taken care of. And if you can hold the blue line and stop their first zone entry, you're looking at 45 seconds, maybe even a full minute taken away. So the importance of winning that faceoff is very apparent. But Ross, what I will say, Shane Pinto and Ridley Gregg are no slouches when it comes to faceoff either. Both of them are over 50% on the season last year. So they're able to win draws as well. But, I mean, no one does it better than Claude Giroux. So I'd be surprised if he's not still the first guy that's out there.
Okay. Well, get ready to be surprised. Since the NHL trade deadline, Ridley Gregg and Shane Pinto led the team in ice time per game shorthanded at 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Giroux was 12 seconds behind in third place, followed by Matthew Highmore. And since Highmore left, there will be someone new there. I agree with you on the face-offs, of course, and wanting to get Giroux in. Still have a bit of a bad taste in my mouth from a few of those lost draws in the playoffs in that
Big
first
time.
round against Toronto. But I think
just shows the importance, Ross. Now, obviously, you'd want Giroux to win those, but that just emphasizes how important it is to get that draw.
Yeah, and Shane Pinto, for me, could be one of the best face-off men in the league as well. So those two, but do you agree those two will be a pair, though?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Ridley Gregg and Shane Pinto. Okay, so who do you have then playing with Claude Giroux?
Realistically, or what I want?
Both.
Well, actually, this one could be both. I've been preaching from the rooftops that Michael Amadio needs to be the top penalty kill forward, or at least that should be his biggest role, is being an elite penalty killer. And I believe now that Matthew Highmore is gone, that Claude Giroux and Michael Amadio should be the combo forward-wise on that PK unit. Whatever you want to call it, PK1, PK2, whatever.
I was surprised that Michael Amadio killed so few penalties last year. After the trade deadline, he averaged 1 second per game on the PK.
Yeah, like what were we doing putting Matthew Highmore there for so long?
No clue.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. The only thing I'm trying to rack my brain would be, look, if Pinto and Gregg are out there and then Amadio's out there, you can't go back to that line against the other team's top players after.
But then my rebuttal to that would be the other team's probably not putting their top players out right away because they just played the whole power play.
Right.
So you would hope that you wouldn't need your checking line matched up against the other team's top line because they're also a little bit gassed. But
yeah,
I also don't think, like we talked about, that Amadio is going to be the guy playing with those two. So I don't think you're going to run into that issue.
So if not Amadio, who then?
I mean, Lars Eller could get some time.
Yep.
He's a guy that kills a lot of penalties in his career. He's got good face-off numbers as well. And you want to find a way to get him some more ice time than just regular 5-on-5 fourth line minutes. So that would be my next guy.
That's who I think it'll be. But as we pulled up, or as we are going to pull up here, when we did our assignment for the PK units, look, I get that it's not going to be every penalty kill that you do this, but I would love to have the option to put out Tim Stützle on the PK. He did it in years past, and he was awesome at it. And then they just took him off, I guess, to save his legs so he's fresh during other parts of the game. He can be more offensive and commit to every single shift like it's his last, all those things. But I would love to see Tim Stützle. At times, maybe you're down later on in a game and you're able to put out Timmy and maybe make something happen there. That old power kill that the Senators had at times with their shorthanded opportunities.
Yeah, I'm not that warm on that idea, Ross. Maybe here and there, but for me, the penalty kill should be a way to elevate and increase the importance of bottom six, bottom pair guys, that this can be their role. This is where they make their mark. And on the penalty kill, like, you're going to have Tim Stützle blocking a lot more shots than he's used to, which is, I mean, you got to block shots, but I'm not trying to put my star skill guys in harm's way on the penalty kill more often than I need to.
I get that, but look around the league. So many of those top teams have their top players on the PK. Like, I could see Stützle having a Mitch Marner impact on the PK. Hounding pucks up top. Marner's one of the best penalty killers in the league. Yeah.
I got a lot more emphasis on Timmy's offense that I want to see from him than him killing penalties. But I don't hate it, but it's lower on my list for sure.
Defense on the PK. Sanderson and Zub, you're keeping those two together. Then it gets interesting because last year it was just Shabbat Jensen. They just ran it out as though it was the top four at 5-on-5. And Tyler Klevin now has taken a step in his development, but really didn't kill any penalties last season. You're not a stickler for keeping pairs together on the PK, and you want to see more Klevin.
Yeah, I like Klevin and Amadio. I want to see them shine on the penalty kill. Although I agree, it's more ideal to have defensive partners together. They have that chemistry. It makes things a lot easier. You know where guys are going to be. You each understand each other, know how to communicate, etc. We're talking about 45 seconds shifts here, hopefully, at a time that they're going to have to be with a different partner. For me, I love the idea of having Klevin Zub as your top PK defense pair. Two physical, shut down guys that and hopefully Clevin gets a bigger role here other than just being a third pair guy. And Sanderson, take his minutes down just a little bit by getting him on that second penalty kill unit.
No chance. Sanderson Zub attached at the hip, unless for some reason they don't put them together at 5-on-5, which I would be completely shocked. And they were so good together last year. What are you talking about?
I never said they weren't good.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it would be how I would approach that situation. Like Sanderson played 63% of the time on ice allotment last year on the PK. You want to bring his minutes down? He's got a complete never-ending engine. That's like telling a marathon runner, hey, we're just going to do the 10K today. We don't want to tire you out. He's like, I'm ready for the marathon. I've been training for this.
And he might get better run times that way. I'm not saying I don't believe in Sanderson. I'm not saying he can't handle it. I'm trying to elevate Tyler Cleven's role. You don't believe that Cleven can be a good penalty killer?
I do, but I think that I would look at number 72 and say, look, Thomas, we talked on Tuesday's show. We want you to be able to produce more offense on the power play. And at 5-on-5, you're great last year. Just keep that up. We don't need to be adding the PK to an offensive defenseman. Like, I get that he's not awful in his own zone. He's perfectly reasonable, but that's not his role on the team, or would be the role that I would give him on the team. So if you want to go Cleven Jensen as a second pair, okay, let's chat. But to me, the top pair, it's so important. And you also want to be able to keep them together at 5-on-5 and not have one guy just coming off the ice after killing a penalty. I just think you keep them together.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So there you go. Let us know in the comments what you think about the Ottawa Senators and their PK units going in to the 2025 NHL season. One player we didn't have listed there, but Pilsy made a great point, was Lars Eller. I would be shocked if we don't see him, at least at times, out there killing penalties as a left shot center.
Yeah, I got Lars Eller coming into the PK unit before Dylan Cousins for sure.
I know. That Dylan Cousins goal in Game 5 in Toronto, like,
he wasn't supposed to be out there for
a
penalty kill. Yeah,
but it looked good. It looked good. Had to give him that nod there after, extending the series. On the other side, we're extending our organizational value rankings. We are into the 30s. Part 1 of our NHL depth tier is next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Let's be honest, most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's your 401k, properties, or investment. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. Don't do that. That's why Monarch Money is here. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Let Monarch do the heavy lifting for you. Link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Do you have subscriptions that you forgot you're even paying for? Well, link your accounts to Monarch and they will immediately spot subscriptions you aren't using, cancel those, and save money every month. Monarch makes it simple to review finances with your partner as well. You can see budgets, goals, and spending all in one place. So stop letting financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL.
All right, Pilsy, special teams is in the rear view mirror. If you missed the power play conversation, go check that out on Tuesday's show. Thank you to everyone who makes us your first listen each and every day. We would not be able to do it without you, and we cannot thank you enough. We're back 5 days a week, Monday through Friday here on Locked On Senators. We'll be recapping the rookie tournament on Monday, continuing our organizational value rankings throughout the week, and we have officially put in some requests for interviews. We decided to take a little break from the interviews after doing 19 of them in July while everybody else was sleeping. So those are still available. If you missed any of them, you can go check out all the great interviews we were able to get, whether it was with players who are playing in this tournament this upcoming weekend, other players from the organization, or members of management, reporters, you name it, we got it on Locked On Senators. Pilsy, with that said, we are finally into the NHL tier, like the tier where these guys, like, you wouldn't even think twice seeing them on an NHL roster, whether it's in November or potentially even opening night. Let's decide. Coming in at number 30 on our organizational value rankings, it's Zach MacEwen. Wild. It's already his third year in the organization.
Yeah, he was signed to a 3-year deal in free agency a couple of years ago, and he split his time between Belleville and Ottawa, and he was gone a lot of the year, Ross, on a personal leave of absence. Keep that in mind, too. It wasn't an injury that caused him to miss a lot of games. In Belleville, 23 games, 7 goals, 9 assists, 16 points, minus 329 PIMs. The Wayne Gretzky of the AHL, Ross, every time he went back to Belleville, it seemed like we were seeing highlight reel goals from him. As far as like a fourth line grinder goes in the NHL too, look, you could do a lot worse than Zach MacEwen, in my opinion. I know people don't love that he got one-way money, and that's fine if you're not super stoked about that. But I think he has a role in this franchise, and I think as a guy that can give you offensive production, provide toughness in Belleville, and then play 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes a night in the NHL in small sample sizes. Sure, you'd like for him to win a couple more fights that he's in, but he's showing up when he needs to show up. So I think 30th overall is a good spot for Zach MacEwen, and I assume we're going to see him play majority of his time in Belleville this year.
I could also see him being the 13th forward in Ottawa, just a guy that situationally maybe pops in. I'll always remember where I was in the building for the Zach MacEwen game. Those 2 goals he scored in that wacky 8-7 win over the LA Kings. And we're like, man, we knew it was a revenge game, but is Zach MacEwen turning into an offensive weapon? Those were the only 2 goals he scored all year in Ottawa. Added 1 assist there, so had 3 points in 21 games. Like, he almost split evenly between Ottawa and Belleville last season. And in Belleville, like, he can control the pace of play. I got to see him in Manitoba last year while he was with Belleville, and he is a hell of a player. He's an enormous human being, too. 6'4", 236 pounds, right shot, right wing. And going into the final year of his contract, man, like, there was pressure, I think, for other reasons for MacEwen. But this year, it's like, okay, you're 29 years old now. You need to prove that you're worth another one-way NHL contract. Otherwise, it could be bouncing around between NHL, AHL, and obviously he's tasted the real NHL money for 3 years now, and it's on him for that to continue. So I'm hopeful for him, man. Like, he's the type of guy where when you watch him, like, you see all the tools. Like, he can fly. He's physical. He's got a great shot, clearly. It's going to be curious to see how he puts it all together this year. The thing for me that I'm hoping for is availability, right? Like 44 games he played overall last season. Love to see that up over 70.
Yeah, but keep in mind, like I said, it wasn't like there was an injury. He left for
right. No, exactly. Exactly. I just want everything to be all good in his personal life, all good in terms of health, and see what he can do when he's able to get into a proper rhythm.
Yeah, definitely.
And with that, kind of par for the course in a sense for Zach MacEwen. He started out at 34 on our list. He went up to 28, and now he's down to number 30 on our organizational value rankings. Coming in at number 29, it's Mads Søgaard. Mads had a tough year. There's no other way around it, but the 6'7", 198-pound goalie, you dream about the potential of what he could be, a Ben Bishop type where he covers so much of the net. He's so athletic. He's so, willing to compete. And we've seen that at times, like not this year, but last, the .916 save percentage, put up good numbers. Unfortunately, that was about as hellish of a season as you could have imagined. And I was in the building for both of his NHL games last year. The LA game where he came in as a replacement for Anton Forsberg, and then the Winnipeg game where Ottawa went up 2-0 and then allowed 4 straight goals.
Yeah, I mean, a tough year for Mads. There's no way around it. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. He played 8 games in Belleville, 0 wins, 5 losses, 2 overtime shootout losses, 3.69 goals against average, 8.58 save percentage. Like, his health is his main obstacle, Ross, unfortunately, and it comes with guys that size. Brandon Piller, not a doctor, but tend to have some more injury problems and things can linger a little bit more, I assume. And look, this is a guy that we believed in, Ross, big time, because if you look at the past 4 years of our organizational value rankings, the year before 17, then 19, 19, 19, and 2020 we had him all the way at 35. Be interesting to revisit why he was so low that year. But Brady Tkachuk even said it himself, like, we envision Mads as the goalie of the future here in Ottawa, and we hope that he can be a part of some playoff success in the future. Like, there's high hopes for him, but he's got to play games. I know we kind of talked, are we going to see Mads be the backup in the NHL for a while? How's this going to look? I think ideally you want him battling Hunter Shepard for that number 1 spot in Belleville, and you don't want it assumed that he's going to get that spot. You want him to earn it, and you want to keep that motivation going, because keep in mind, this Mads Søgaard is on a one-way deal this year. Like, he was given that contract, and that's why it's so unfortunate that last year he didn't get to play many games, because this was the year that he was supposed to be ready and properly earn a backup role in the NHL, but Levy's leapfrogged him now.
Yeah, it's the verbal meme of the guy turning around going, ooh, to that other woman while his girlfriend or whatnot is like looking like, what the hell? I'm right here. And it Sens fans are the guy, and Marilainen is the girl walking by, and Mads is like, I've been here for 6 years. Come on, man. I need a chance. And he has had chances. Unfortunately, some of them came before he was ready. He was kind of thrust into it when, what was it, when Talbot was hurt? Was it that year or even before that? Was he a part of the Matt Murray trauma?
Yeah. Well, remember, Mads and Mando were
That's wild.
The 2 goalies for Ottawa. Like, it's just crazy. And how many NHL games do you think Mads has, Ross? Do you know?
I cheated. I pulled it up.
Oh, okay. Well, it's 29.
Yeah. 25 starts.
I mean, for his numbers, his record is actually decent. 11, 11, and 3. But yeah, everyone knows we're big fans of Mads as a person, dude. As a player. He's such a good guy. We're rooting for him. And
he got engaged this summer, so new lease on life.
Yeah, big year for Mads this season in his career. So we're hoping for the best.
Let's go, Mads. And you can see on the graph, it's been up and down, although pretty consistent throughout the middle of it. 37th overall pick in the 2019 NHL draft. Mads Søgaard comes in at number 29 on our organizational value rankings. Coming in at number 28, it is Lassi Thomson. Fire up the Tom Bomb. He's back. This is a strange one where we have his rankings for the first 4 years, then none last year. We just ignored him completely. And now he's back at number 28. Heck of a season with the Malmo Redhawks. He led the team in goal scoring with 17 goals and 29 points in 50 games. 25 years old now. Lassi is 6 feet tall and 192 pounds. Your thoughts on bringing back Lassi Thomson?
Lassi Boomerang Thompson. He even spent a quick minute in Anaheim and came right back. Like, all roads lead back to the Ottawa Senators.
Lassi comes home.
Yeah, exactly. Like you mentioned, solid season in the SHL. I think it was the right move for him to go there. From my understanding, Malmo was a pretty weak team last year, and he was given some good opportunities, and I think it was the right move by Ottawa to bring him back, Ross. Now, I know we have a bit of a logjam on the right side of defense, depth-wise, for the organization, but he's a guy that was under team control. He lit it up in the SHL. He's looking to have I don't want to say it, but kind of one more opportunity in North America. Because I assume if it doesn't go well this year, Ross, he just goes right back to the SHL. I mean, why wouldn't you? So he got the Tom Bomb going. Let's keep it going here. And I assume he's going to spend most of his time as the second right shot defenseman in Belleville and likely quarterbacking the second power play unit in Belleville as well. And hopefully there's no more injuries, but it's possible we see him for a game or two in Ottawa if need be.
Man, Lassi Thomson had 4 more goals than anyone else on his team last year, and he's a defenseman. He also led the team in points, so he's coming in with a ton of confidence.
I didn't know he led in points, too. Leading a team in points with 29 is not good.
No, in 50 games, not good at all. But after taking that year away from our organizational value rankings, Thomson comes back to number 28. He was 31 2 years ago, 20 the year before that, followed by 23 and 22. Thomson signed a 1-year, 2-way contract with the Ottawa Senators, the 19th overall pick from the 2019 NHL draft. And coming in at number 27, another new guy, but this time, not back. It's Olle Lycksell, signed as a free agent this summer out of the Flyers organization, 5'11", 176 pounds. He's 26 years old, and he's a goal scorer and a point producer overall.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lycksell, Ross. Both his last years in the AHL with Lehigh Valley Phantoms, he had 1 more point than he did games played. So a point per game guy. Last season with the Phantoms, 43 games, 19 goals, 25 assists, 44 points. Like I mentioned, a plus 12, only 14 PIMs. Had 14 PIMs both years as well, so he's consistent there. He produces in the playoffs. He had 6 points in 7 playoff games, so he could play a role if Belleville gets back to the playoffs. But this is a guy that can play either wing, can play left wing or right wing. I don't think it's crazy to say that he could lead the Belleville Senators in points this year. Like, this was a great signing, in my opinion.
I mean, if he gets there, like, there's a world where he's the 13th forward in Ottawa, right?
No, I don't think that's the right idea. Because you want this guy playing games, Ross. Like, I think you were more on it with Zach MacEwen possibly being the 13th forward, but he's too good to not be providing offense for Belleville's top 6 if he's just in the press box every night for Ottawa.
I mean, I think going to camp, he's going to have the mentality that he can make the team. And if he plays well enough, I don't have a problem with it. He also, I mean, he needs waivers, right? He's 26 years old. So we'll see. He played 19 NHL games last year, had 5 points in them on a not so good Flyers team in a depth role. I get what you're saying. And yeah, that's likely the outcome. But I could see a world where he comes and knocks the door down in camp. I think he's going to be the first guy, maybe alongside Arthur Kaliev, that gets a look with some legit NHL players on a line. And it's like, okay, how does this look?
Yeah. I think for me, Ross, he's third in that pecking order. I think you're looking at Kaliev and Halliday ahead of him to get NHL opportunity. But if he has a good camp, who knows? I really want to see him playing most, if not all of the year in Belleville in the top 6. Like, Belleville's got to get back to the playoffs. It's so important for that community, for those developing players, like especially if Yak spends most of the year there, get him some AHL playoff action. So yeah, I want to see Lycksell dominate down there.
All right, 44 points, 43 games. You know he can produce at the AHL level. He begins his time in the organization at number 27 on our organizational value rankings. And oh boy, could there be a little competition at the top of the lineup in Belleville? Tomorrow we'll discuss who Lycksell's main competition is for that spot. But Lycksell, who was acquired in free agency in 2025, is 27 on our organizational value rankings. All right, Pillsy, as we await tomorrow, any final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts for me is the rumors that Kirill Kaprizov turned down that massive deal, 8x16, is wild. How true it is, wild, no pun intended.
Hey.
How true it is, not sure. But
did you see the quote from Bill Guerin?
Yeah, it seems like it's not that true.
But it's just interesting.
Read the quote.
I don't know where this stuff comes from. I know 2 things. That info didn't come from us, and it didn't come from Kirill's agent. I still think we're in a really positive place with Kirill.
Yeah, I mean, the Wild are in a place where I feel like they've basically told him, we will give you whatever you want. Tell us what you want, and we will give you that, because they need to keep him, and they can pay him more than any other team. So whether he doesn't want to be locked in there, doesn't want to have to demand a trade if it gets that, I'm not saying it will, but maybe he just wants shorter contracts to have more control, or a shorter deal, so when the salary cap really rises in the next couple of years, he can re-up at a bigger price. I'm not sure, but it's just crazy to fathom that someone might turn that kind of money down. Oh my God.
Yeah, and there's a bit of maybe a game of chicken, which I know you'd appreciate, between Kaprizov and McDavid. Who's going to sign first? Like, McDavid's making national news. The Prime Minister is starting his opening remarks saying that we're in a crisis. McDavid's not signed.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got bigger fish to fry than that, but yeah, it's crazy that Kirill Kaprizov is holding this much leverage. I'm not saying he's not worth it, but like, wow.
What range of talent in the NHL do you put Kaprizov? Like, to me, he's like knocking on the door of being a top 10 player in the league.
Okay, I was gonna say certainly not top 5, but right around top 10. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. He's sick.
He is sick. Like, he could have been the MVP last year if he didn't get hurt. Like, the start of his season was among the best in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, totally. He's very good, but it's
Well, then you add in on top of that the Wild like cannot lose him, or else it's full rebuild.
They're done if they lose him. Yeah, they're done.
Done. They're completely done. So we'll see how it unfolds. Maybe he wants to play in Ottawa. I saw our guy Eric posted like, hey, his childhood idol Artem Zub, they only grew up 14 days apart, like walking.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure Kaprizov's from like Siberia. Novu Kuznets.
You should love Minnesota then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in southwestern Syria. Crazy.
That doesn't mean a whole lot to me.
Siberia, it's just known as being far from everything.
No, yeah, I'm aware, but if you like ask me to point that out on a map,
It's close to Mongolia. Like,
nice, the Mongols.
Like, you're in the Far East at this point. Anyways, there's your Russian geography for today. We've had a few Russians already on with Andrei Trofimov on our organizational value rankings, and Isayev, okay. Oh, Kazakh. Vladimir Nikitin's going to be at rookie tournament. I like that. Quick thought on the goalies there, because Jackson Parsons came on the show this summer. Beauty. Luka Beckman. People are excited about him. He's the youngest guy there, 18. And then you've got Nikitin. I'll ask you it this way. How would you break down the ice time, knowing it's just 2 games, 3 goalies, 2 games, musical chairs? Not enough time for everybody.
As a goalie, Ross, I hate playing half games. Like, I grew up a house league goalie, so everyone needs ice time. There's 2 goalies. We would switch at the 10-minute mark in second periods. Hated that. I think you got to give one goalie a full game and then split one game between the other 2 guys.
Okay.
And we can talk about that tomorrow.
So 6 periods, 3 goalies. You could also give every goalie 2 periods. But then it'd be strange to have the guy who finishes a game start the next one and just play one.
First. Yeah, that sucks, dude.
Yeah, because everyone else will get 2 periods within a game. Feel good, that. Anyways, we'll discuss tomorrow on the show. The rookie tournament begins on Saturday in Montreal. Senators prospects on the ice this afternoon. So stay tuned on Twitter at Sens Central. We'll get you the line combinations when they become available. Thanks so much for liking, listening, watching, and engaging with the show. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.